BMC, the country's richest civic body, has came out with a humongous budget on Saturday. But ever wonder why the city's condition never improves? The roads never improve. The city floods every year. There is sanitation problem. Well, we will decode all of that in this episode of Mumbai Matters, where we will decode how Mumbai's civic body spends huge amount of funds that it puts out in budget every year. Hello and welcome to Mumbai Matters. I am Purva, Chitnis, special correspondent at ThePrint. Mumbai is run by Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, which is responsible for keeping city clean, providing necessities like water supply and electricity, providing ample space to Mumbaikars like gardens, taking care of public hospitals and schools. And for this purpose, the civic body comes out with huge budget every year. Thousands of crores of budget is presented every year. And even on Saturday, the civic body presented a budget which was of 52,000 crores. In fact, this is the first time ever that the BMC presented a budget which was more than 50,000 crores. And also the first time in 37 years that the BMC budget was presented by the administrator. And also the first time in last 37 years the BMC budget was presented by an administrator. Although BMC presents a budget which is sometimes bigger than some of the states in the country, but it receives flack for not spending enough on infrastructure. We did analysis of how BMC uses these huge amount of funds over the years from 2006-07 until 2019-20. In fact, we kept 2020, 21 and 22 away from this analysis because they were COVID years. But what we found is, between 2006 and 2007 to 2020 to 21, BMC budget estimates were 3.72 lakh crore. BMC actual spends were at 2.7 lakh crores. This is 27% lower than the estimates. Out of these spends, only 20% is on actual capital expenditure, which means for projects and infrastructure, whereas the rest of the spends were on revenue expenditure, including salaries, interest payment, and other administrative costs. This dismal figure is spent on 1.2 crore Mumbaikars over the past decade. But if one takes a close look at how these expenditures are divided, one will come to know that 70% of the expenditure on an average is revenue expenditure, while the rest is capital expenditure. But this time around, what BMC has said that over the past 3 to 4 years, they have tried to increase the capital expenditure, which means the spend on actual infrastructure and projects has been increased. So if one takes a look at how the BMC has done the division between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure, what one finds out is, so in the year 2017 and 18, revenue expenditure was 75%, while capital expenditure was 25%. The following year, the revenue expenditure was 74% and capital expenditure was 26%. Then in 2019-20, the revenue expenditure dropped to 71% and capital expenditure was 29%. In 2020-2021, it was 72% for revenue expenditure and 28% for capital expenditure. In 2021 to 2022, the revenue expenditure was 65% and capital expenditure rose to 35%. Last year, the revenue expenditure dropped to 52% while the capital expenditure rose to 48%. And this year around, the BMC said for the first time ever, its capital expenditure was more than 50%, which is at 52%, and revenue expenditure is at 48%. And the BMC claims that they intend to use this money for Mumbai's development. So why is it that the total budget is higher than the actual spends? In fact, various departments of BMC, while they are presenting their budget, they give an estimate that is quite ambitious. They also have to make a political statement that BMC is spending crores of amount for infrastructure work. However, the actual spend is lower because there are a lot of hurdles because of clearances, underground utilities, land acquisition, and that's why the total spend always tends to remain lower. Also, this is why the former commissioner Ajay Mehta in 2017-18 decided to cut down the budget by 12,000 crore and tried to present a realistic budget. However, this trend was not followed by the commissioners after him, and every year BMC went on to present a budget which was higher and went on to make a record. As far as last year's budget allocation is concerned, until January 2023, only 37% of capital expenditure was used. Over the years, BMC has taken up many ambitious projects like the Coastal Road project, the Goregaon-Mulund Link Road project, the Stormwater Disposal System project, which feature in every year's budget. In fact, this year, BMC has also taken up and earmarked 1700 crore for beautification of Mumbai. And also around 200 kilometers of road would be concretized, and for which nearly 3000 crore rupees has been earmarked. And this is supposed to be the pet project of Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. In fact, this year's budget was presented by an administrator who works under the state government, and that is why the imprint of Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis feature in the budget. The BMC says that this year its budget focus was on health, education, mitigation of air pollution and transparency. But if we look at the health and the education budget, it in fact has been reduced this year. The health budget has been cut by 300 crore and the education budget has been cut marginally by 30 crore. And also for the mitigation of air pollution, which is now the topic of discussion for the past 2 months, the BMC has earmarked only 25 crore rupees in its entire budget. However, the BMC has also said to fund its ambitious project, this is for the first time that the BMC is also going to dip into its reserves, which is of 88,000 crore, and the BMC says that the internal transfer will be able to fund these huge capital expenditure and the huge amount of ambitious projects that the BMC has taken up. The BMC says that it is going to dip into reserves to develop Mumbai, and these funds will be used for the development of Mumbai. But looking at BMC's history, doubts are cast over how the funds will be allocated and how these funds will be used. And as we said earlier, this is the first time in 37 years that the BMC's budget was presented by an administrator, which means the projects which are importance of the state government are given importance even in this budget, just such as the Coastal Road, the road concretization project, the Mumbai sewage treatment plant project. These projects are given more importance in this year's budget, whereas for mitigation of air pollution, only 25 crore has been earmarked. The health and the education budget has been cut. So how these funds will be actually used, whether they will be used, given that this year is also going to be an election year, and whether BMC will be able to use these funds properly or not, that is all something that time will tell. But as of now, this is what we have for you, the history of how BMC has been using the funds which it kind of keeps for the capital expenditure. This is all we have for you from this episode. Do keep watching our episodes on The Print. This is me, Purva Chitnis, signing off for Mumbai Matters.